Hello guys, my name is Vishal. In this video, let's have a look on align and distribute tools in Adobe Illustrator. Align tools are the easiest way to arrange things and distribute things evenly or in specific alignment. So let's have a look on this align tools. What is the other way if I don't have align tools is, let's say if I want to put all these letters in one single straight line, I have to move it manually and then start putting like that, and then it takes whole life to arrange things like that, and you'll be ending up wasting a lot of time. So I would rather suggest to use a tool which is meant for it. So when you have more than one object, okay, select all the objects here, and when you are in move tool you have this align options. Right now, due to the type of the object which I have selected, I'm not able to find the align features. Let me try this with some shapes. So I'm going to draw a ellipse, okay, and then just make few copies randomly. Don't worry about the spacing like that. Select all of them and you should able to see that align tools coming here and distribute tools coming here. I'll able to explain you all that step by step. So whatever the features you see here are basically seen here in the properties panel also, and it is in a compact version, and there are a lot of other options. To see that, you can click this three dotted options window and then you could see the full panel of the align. Alternatively, you can go to Windows and then bring this align panel before you so that you can work comfortably with this align tool. Okay, so aligning is basically done in reference with lot of things. So first let me show you how this align tools will generally work. So if you could see, I've got a letter R, and no problem, it can be of different sizes. Don't worry about that. Select these two objects and you should able to see this option called horizontal align left. Okay, so when I do that, these two texts are aligned in a straight line, and this alignment is only matching on the left side of these two selected objects. Okay, because you could see that line is touching the borders of these two objects on the left side only. Okay, other way you can generally select these two objects. Okay, select that objects and then align it to the center. Okay, the center of this object will be aligned. Okay, and this is right horizontal alignment, and then we have the vertical alignment. The alignment will match on the top side, the alignment will be matched on the bottom side and in the center. Okay, so the alignments are basically used to arrange things. So if I've got more than one object also, the alignment works here like that. So all objects are neatly aligned. Okay, you can also do with this vertical alignment. All text will be arranged vertically in the straight line. Okay, let's have a look on the intricacies of the align tool. In this case, I have three objects which are basically rectangles, and I have created different stroke values to these three objects, and they're of different sizes, and that's not really important in this case, but the stroke thickness is very important. Now if I select these three objects and then just apply align tool, and you should able to see that the alignment is crossing. If you could see the black area, which is the stroke of this particular rectangle, is crossing the alignment, and the alignment is actually correct in terms of the paths, but not correct in terms of the stroke here. Now if you want to align these objects keeping strokes in consideration, and what you have to do is you need to go here and then enable this feature called use preview bounds. And when I do that and then hit align tool, and you should able to see the three objects are aligned respecting the stroke value. Generally alignment happens with different types of things in the Illustrator. So if you select more than one object, the alignment happens with the selected objects itself. But what happens if I select only one object here, and you should see the alignment tools popping up for it and to what object it is going to align. So there is something called Artboard, which is the white area you are seeing here. The Artboard is the place where you work, and this is the area which is going to be published when you're going to export or save, something like that. So out of the canvas is generally a rough area where you could generally create, but it's not the area where you work for the design. So Artboard is there here, and I've selected only one object, and you should see the drop down showing that align to Artboard. If I select one object, the default alignment is aligned to Artboard here. If I select 1, 2 or 3, more than one object, and it goes to the selection, okay, it doesn't go to the Artboard here. So I'm going to select only one object, and then here we have an option called horizontal align left. So this is going to align on the left side of the object here, and if I just click this one, it goes to the top side, and then if I click this, it will go to the bottom side. Very similarly, I can select this and then put it on the top corner. I can select this and put it in the middle, and this is how generally you can arrange things in the canvas in terms of Artboard. Now what happens if I have more than one Artboard? Which Artboard does it generally consider the alignment to? So I'm going to reset. Okay, now I'm going to select this Artboard and then just click new Artboard, and then you get two Artboards here. Okay, now I've selected the object, and I could see a black line around this Artboard, which is nothing but this is the active Artboard, and here it's not an active one. If I hold shift and then click this Artboard, that becomes an active Artboard. Okay, now if I click this align to the left, it will align to this Artboard rather than this one. I can do that for this, like that. So you have multiple Artboards, and to which Artboard you want to align, still you can do it with this method. Here I've got three objects. I'm going to select those three objects here, and then if I just see the option below here, it is aligned to the selection. But what is aligned to key object? So what is key object is when you are selecting this objects here 1, 2 and 3, and when you said align to the left, it is aligned to the leftmost object. Okay, so this is the leftmost object, and when I click that, and all objects is aligned to that particular object, no matter how you have selected it, what is the sequence of selection, it does not consider that at all. So what if I have to align all these objects to this one? So I need to say this is my key object to which I want to align. So how do I make this one as the key object? So when I'm selecting the first object, I just normally clicked it. Second object I hold shift, third object I hold shift. So every time I was holding, I was selecting a new object, I was holding shift there. But if I have to say this is my key object, I need not select anything like shift, just click it, and you should be able to see the line became thick. Okay, now this became key object, and if you're able to see, align to key object is selected here. Nothing to do, just need to click that after all your selections are done. Now if I say align to the left, no alignment is happened to this key object here. Alignment to the right, it's happening to that. Alignment to the center, it's happening to that only. So that's align to key object is about. Here I have got a path, as you could see, and generally I'm talking about the anchor points, not the objects in general. So anchor points can also be aligned. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the direct selection tool and start selecting these points here. I'm holding shift and selecting all that points. Okay, I've selected 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points here, and then when I see here the feature has changed to align to key anchor. Okay, now when I do that alignment, okay, all objects will be aligned to one anchor point here. Okay, okay, as the points are very specific. I mean they don't have the area in general, so that's why when I'm doing the top alignment or center alignment or left alignment, it's not really considering, it's selecting that last point which we have selected. Let me try holding this one and try. You should see that all points are aligned to that particular last selection. That's it. So you can do that in the vertical alignment also, so all the points will be aligned to the vertical point. Let's have a look on the distribute objects tool. So we have so many objects here and they are randomly placed across the canvas. They are not at all in a right alignment or distribution here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all these objects and then hit this button to vertically align in the center. So if you could see, all the polygons have come into a straight line, but there's a problem that the gap between these objects are not uniform. Now this is where our alignment tool comes into the picture. So what I need to do is just click this button called horizontal distribute center, and then you should able to see the objects are equally spaced in the center. Okay, now what is the other two options doing here? I need to check that. If you see, there is horizontal distribute left and horizontal distribute right. Now what does that actually does, I'll show you. Let me just rearrange things here so that you could see what I'm trying to talk. I'll just keep less number of polygons here. Okay, and then I'm going to scale it a little bit. I want to keep them of random size. Now when I select all of them, okay, and hit the center alignment and then distribute in the vertical, then you should able to see every object has got a center. Okay, and there's a center. Now it is actually keeping the equal distance from center to the center. That's why you should able to see a bigger gap between each of these objects here. And when I am saying distribute with the top side, what does actually that do is, when I select all of them and then hit that, from this point to this point, whatever the distance you have, the same distance will be measured till here, the same distance will be measured till here. So it is considering the distribution of the top edge rather than the center. I can do that for the bottom, the same thing, the bottom edge to bottom edge, the same size is applicable here for the distribution. So when I am doing this distribution here with any of these features for different sized objects, the spacing between these two objects is not uniform because the objects are of different size. And I need to address that also. How do I keep the spacing equal rather than the center to center or top edge to top edge is not giving me a equal space between these 2 points, these objects. I'll just talk about that, but before going into that, you could see there are different things here called align to selection, so which was a default one, and then we have align to the key object, and we have align to the artboard. Okay, so we'll see one by one. We will just undo it. I'll select all the objects, and then I was telling distribute to the center. It distributed, but it was not really helping me at all. Fine. Now there is something here called distribute spacing. Okay, so we have a vertical distribute spacing and horizontal distribute spacing. Now which is the right tool to fix this problem? So I'm going to hit this button, and then you should able to see the spacing is equal here with this particular tool, and that's really important. Now what happens, let's say you want to control the amount of distance and it should be in your control. Let's say I want to keep a gap of 10 pixels only. Then how do I do that? For that you need to unlock this feature. This feature will be unlocked for a key object alignment. So how do I make anything key object? As I told you, I need to select that 4 objects here using shift, or I can just drag everything, that is also fine. And then just need to select this key object. Okay, key object border will be thick, and then you should see this feature is unlocked. And if you put a value of 20 pixels and then click this button, it will create a 20 pixel gap between these objects here. Okay, so this is something really nice. And then we have align to artboard. So what that will do is it will generally touch the artboard from top to the bottom while you're doing this vertical distribution. So first this object goes there, this object goes there, and then this will be equal spaced distribution. You should able to see the top object is touching the top border of the artboard, bottom edge of this lower object is touching the lower side, and there's a clear gap which is equal actually. So that's how this artboard alignment will do. So there are so much of control in this align and distribution tools. You need to explore and use it in the right places, and that's really